fetching the screen, yada yada yada.
Here, check my spelling. I'm spelling Cylon right, correct?
C-Y.
C-Y. Oh. Because I say it, I don't spell it.
There you go. Yeah, that's correct. Boy, howdy, aren't we glad to be here today?
Oh, I love coming out here.
I do too.
There we go. Beautiful.
That would be a very tricky
Oh, that would be terrifying if it was Cylons and Skynet. But of course, as soon as I posted that we were having difficulties, it starts working.
Well, they're on to us.
And welcome. This is
This is CNN. No,
Okay, now let's hope that 50 page doesn't get pissed when I double share it.
Rip.
It's
Sorry,
not
guys.
our fault.
We're trying our best here.
Jake, you're gonna need to screw in.
No, I know. I'm just. The show will start 6 minutes late because I'm about to go have a very furious cigarette because I am
I guess we're
grumpy.
I guess we're doing some commentary before then.
Yep. Cover me because I'm about to go outside and swear loudly in the parking lot.
Good idea.
'Cause-
Do it outside.
Yep.
All right. Well, so we're talking about Black Panther in the actual app, but have you guys seen The Shape of Water yet?
I have not.
That's why Jake and I put off our Wednesday night games. Well, or rather, we were planning on playing on Wednesday. All y'all Valentine's asses made plans on game night. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm
Hold on.
afraid Valentine's Day takes precedence.
Yep. My
No.
plans for Valentine's Day consisted of I'm gonna take my nice bottle of bourbon.
And drink it.
I'm going to sip on my bourbon, all classy like, with my fancy new haircut, and watch Big Mouth and other.
I was gonna say Legally Blonde, a classic.
I actually considered that.
It's one of my favorite movies, actually. No, The Shape of Water is really good. I feel like the guy who plays Fishman, that's kind of what Rafi looks like in the Wednesday game, Aquans. But not in like a weird, sexy way, but maybe not.
This is a topic I'm not entirely
But no, anyways, the
comfortable
movie was really good. There's a happy ending, and the only part that I really didn't like is when a guy rips off his own gangrenous fingers.
with. Oh, okay. I definitely did not need to hear that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can tell it's coming, so you can look away, as I did.
But no, he's so romantic that he's gonna stop the infection.
No, it's not the Fishman's gangrenous fingers, don't worry.
Oh, it's not his?
No, it's another dude, and you're like, oh, because he almost does it a couple times by accident, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
But the rest of it,
Can
real
we
good.
stop talking about that, please?
Sure.
I don't even
No,
want to think
it's really
about
good.
that.
It's up for a bunch
Stop.
of Oscars. It's up for a bunch of Oscars, including a costume one, because it is a suit, not CG, for the fish guy.
It's pretty impressive.
I think his eyes and mouth had some CG for like fangs and like irises moving and stuff, but suit. I love the practical effect. Also,
Everyone
it's
loves
really
practical
funny.
effects.
It's really funny for a movie.
What I think would be funny is instead of using the CG for the moving eyes, have someone just close their eyelids and paste googly eyes on it.
Big
I
googly
mean,
eyes.
I love that
I'd do
as a
it.
conceit. I literally actually at one point in college bought a pair of googly eyes about the size of my hand, about 5 or 6 inches in diameter, and put them on our large double-door refrigerator in our co-op.
Oh, that is beautiful.
It was gold.
Who
It was
makes
so great.
those? Who makes
I found them at
googly eyes?
Urban Outfitters, weirdly, but many craft supply.
Googly eyes are just one of those things that just always exist.
They're always funny.
They are eternal.
They're good.
There,
Shiny
there
and
is no origin. They just
good.
exist.
They have no beginning. They have no end.
They're,
Yeah, I have
they're,
them- I
they're
saw
like
them
those
in
little
a
hard
assortment.
candies that look like strawberries.
You know what
yeah,
your
yeah.
grandma gave you?
They're not good though. Googly eyes are
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, googly eyes
No,
are great.
for me and Jake's Halloween costume when we were Magic Brian and Brian with a Y from the Adventure Zone, Jake playing Brian with a Y, the giant
Brian,
spider.
if you will.
Yeah. My favorite spider boy. And I have many leftover googly eyes, so I should get up to
Oh, googly eyes.
I could use some spare googly
mail
eyes.
them to
Yeah,
you.
they
Send
can
you an
just-
Android care.
Or
I can just buy
on
some
Wednesday,
of those.
bring some to the game because I'll be
Come
in
on.
house.
That's true. You will.
Come on. Oh,
I love spring break because I can nerd out with my friends.
Yeah,
we go.
right. You're good friends, not you. Northern friends.
Yeah, not those losers.
That's
Sorry, guys.
Actually, a lot of them are from further south than we are.
Well, it's not difficult, I have to tell you.
right. The
Most of
Plains.
the United States is further south than we are.
Up top.
Oh no, like we're up in Lansing, and everybody's from Chicago, pretty
oh, really?
much.
Damn. Wow.
Jake, you gonna go for that cigarette?
Nope, because I have more problems to fix.
Oh, jeez.
Cylons or
Running
Skynet? Should we? What are the
I
odds
think
on
it's just
Cylons or
Facebook.
Skynets?
I think it's just Facebook. Oh, there
Jeez,
it is.
I don't know, man. I may need a calculator to calculate these odds.
Yeah, I feel like we should probably get Vegas
No,
involved
I can't even like,
so we could run the odds on it.
delete.
Is it just Facebook being difficult again?
Probably Skynet.
Skynet, then, yeah. Cylons are mostly good at impersonating people.
Unless it was a Cylon that infiltrated Facebook
That wouldn't be
to
hard.
then cause the technical difficulties from in there.
That'd be a very dedicated Cylon, but I'm not going to put it past him.
Cylons are
crafty.
crafty. Yeah, they are crafty.
You'll never see him coming.
It's like you
They
take a
sneak up on
toddler that knows it's not supposed to do a bunch of stuff, and a Cylon, and they're about tied.
I think I did it. I think I fixed
Cylons
everything.
can easily find ways to destroy you, much the same way that a toddler can find ways to destroy itself
And the whole-
almost
Okay.
instant speed.
All right, I'm gonna go panic smoke.
Do it quickly.
We'll start.
I will be your stress animal.
Oh, here, get the marble out of your
But why
core
not?
sweat.
Sounds perfect to me.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, hello, guys.
Yeah. And we're back. Anyway, The Shape of Water's still good. Go see it. Up for a million Oscars.
Oscar season's over, though, isn't it?
I think it's today. That shows you how much I
Huh.
know. But
News-
that's only because I follow Rodarte's Twitter and they're talking about the dresses they put people in. So.
News to me. I don't
I literally only know because I follow some designers on Tumblr. Like me alone. Natalie Portman always looks great, and that's because Rodarte dresses her.
well,
Fact.
I didn't know that either.
They also did an opera. They did, I don't think it was Rigoletto, but they worked with the Met and they costumed. I think it was something Italian. I can't remember. It was a very good one.
Something Italian. It's very descriptive.
Yeah, right?
You know how many Italian operas I know?
Oh
There's
my
a lot of them.
Yeah, no, I bet. Yeah, you live with an opera singer. No, I just have two
Yes.
musicians. My mom used to play in the pit at MOT, though, so I got to see Tosca as a child, and it was very formative. Solve all my problems by jumping off at cathedrals.
I learned how stupid Shakespeare is.
Oh,
Not
it's
that
dumb, and I
Shakespeare
love it.
himself is stupid, but that his works are reliant on
nine
a
on
comedy of errors.
Oh, yeah, but that's great.
Like
All the
everyone doing
serious
stupid
Shakespeare
things at
stuff,
once.
boring. Dick jokes, yay.
Yeah, I mean that's what Shakespeare's really about, right?
Exactly.
I mean, if you think it's about something else, you're wrong. Sorry. Don't know what you want me to tell you. Like it's about dick jokes. Not to mention that yeah, I'm not even gonna say that one. There's lots of crude jokes in
Alright.
Shakespeare.
Class.
Yeah, the scene in Romeo and Juliet where everyone's making horrible dick jokes. What a romantic comedy.
Oh, yeah. Super great. Oh, here we go.
Sorry.
That's on the
Which-
television great suite.
Which scene?
Yeah, right? I don't know. Most of it.
Like the first
Not the
third?
one where everyone's dying.
Well, no. I think
Well, as they say in the opera when the oboe's playing, someone's crying or someone's dying.
I did not know. That's a new thing to me. But
It might just be like symphony, but yeah.
that's probably not terribly enthusiastic to our audience. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties have delayed us. We're waiting for people to come
Paul and I
back.
small talk is really weird. Sorry, y'all.
And you came
Yeah.
back and us talking about oboes and dick jokes. So
Hey, man.
Uh,
Let's see.
I'm sorry I had to step out to end our conversation about Cylons and Skynet and how they infiltrated Facebook.
No,
They did.
it's all their fault. Okay,
I thought that was the version.
10 minutes after we were
Anyway,
supposed to
we're
start the
here.
show.
Mission
fine,
time.
whatever. We're cutting out one section. Sorry, guys.
No, we're not cutting anything today. We're just gonna starting late, you know.
We're going to cut the Olympic section because I'm not going to sing the whole
That's right.
John Williams Olympic theme. Even though I've played it like several times. In
We had a plan for that and everything. Okay. Y'all ready for the fight song?
I'm ready for the fight song.
Let's
Let's
do it.
Oh, you know what? Might help too.
I got my dancing shoes on.
Lock, dark. start the encoders.
Mickey, you're gonna need to scoot over a little so you're on screen.
Let me guess. Were we silent that entire time?
Oh no, we were silent to the radio stream. We're not silent to anybody watching the vid yet.
Sorry,
So,
sorry,
yeah,
radio
we're-
listeners.
We're entertaining the.
No, we're here now, and here's the fight song. Go. Hello and welcome to 3DM's podcast, episode 19. Sorry, we've had a lot of technical difficulties in the last 10 minutes. I blame Skynet. Nacho thinks it's Cylons, but we're here.
I've got some bets going.
It is a beautiful, crisp March afternoon, and we are going to talk about NPCs and the noble class that we found on the internet, and Pathfinder, and Wakanda, and Black Panther, and a bunch of things.
Not necessarily in that order.
I'm just a little stressed out right now because I had to fight the internet, and I won
The
somehow.
whole internet. All of it.
All of it. Anyways, before we get going, a couple of things to mention. First, we record at the Podcast Detroit studios in Royal Oak, Michigan. If you want to start your own podcast, come on down. It's super easy, super affordable, and it's a lot of fun to do your own show. Rates are really affordable. You ever want to start your own show and you're in the southeastern Michigan area, check out Podcast Detroit. Really fun to do. Also, we are doing a giveaway once we get to 500 likes on our Facebook page, facebook.com/3DMspodcast. We are going to give away a book to 2 lucky people who have liked our Facebook page. We aren't counting follows, we are counting likes. So head over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/3DMspodcast. Give us a like, and once we hit 500, we're going to pick 2 people, and we're going to send each of them a book. No special edition of your choosing. No special editions because we're not going to hunt stuff down on eBay. All right, now that that's all out of the way, let's talk about Black Panther, guys, because that was a great movie. I'm still a little. I'm trying to get my woosah back after.
Woosah. Well, you can't play with your earlobes, but
Yeah, I know.
With the headphones on now. But Black Panther is real good. Y'all should go see it.
I loved it.
I have nothing to contribute.
Yeah, no.
to this. I
Yeah,
haven't
so
seen it yet.
Paul, earmuffs so you miss any spoiler material. So if you're watching and you haven't seen the movie yet and you really want to see it, just turn your volume off for let's call it 2 minutes, and then
We'll do our best not to spoil it, but
Yeah.
you know how sometimes things slip out.
So really quick, just diving into how cool this movie was for D&D stuff. As a longtime comic fan and as a longtime fan of Black Panther, they did an amazing job making Wakanda feel alive.
Oh yeah.
Like, as somebody who's always loved the comic books and like the structure and the way they always did everything with Wakanda and like a lot of the Wakanda-centric storylines, it was really cool to actually like see it and believe that if I was lucky enough to be born in Wakanda, I could go there. But I'm white, so that would never happen for me. Now, that being said, a couple of things I want to talk about from that movie because they're really good and they pertain really well to D&D. First being Killmonger. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan for just an amazing job playing the best villain that Marvel's got in the like actual movie universe, or one of the best. I'm still very partial to Abomination from the Hulk movie with Edward Norton, but
Yeah, that was a good villain, but Michael B. Jordan's performance, it actually sent shivers down my spine as I was watching him just bring Killmonger to life.
yeah, bringing Killmonger to life. But
Oh, the Philadelphia Killmongers, of course.
no, it's the Oakland Killmongers.
Damn.
Yeah,
Different branch
and
of the family.
I hope you noticed that his outfit was rather based on one of Goku's costumes.
Vegeta.
Vegeta's
Or
costume
Vegeta, I
was
beg
good.
your pardon. But no,
Yeah.
it's based on
It's
a
okay,
Dragon
we'll
Ball
One,
Z.
forgive
one of those
you.
guys.
Whatever.
I'm
I
sorry.
read a whole
forgive you.
article
I
about
don't
Yeah,
the
know.
no,
costume.
we had a whole long argument about
My
DBZ in the
girlfriend
car.
Lupita Nyong'o looked great, y'all.
But no, but talking about, because I mean our last couple of episodes have been about villains specifically, and so talking about Killmonger really quick, like everything we said in our episodes about villains, like, he's doing the exact definition of, like, a good guy you can have sympathy for correctly. You know, he ultimately has his motivations and everything that drives him are, like, they're against the players. They would be against the players if we're counting T'Challa as, like, one of your D&D players. And I don't know.
Your main character,
Yeah, like, as one of your, players, and then somebody's playing Shuri and somebody's playing, what's her name?
Nakia.
What's the general's name?
The general's Otoya?
Yeah. But,
If you look at his motivations, it's not evil. It's, no, we want to go out there. We want to actually help these people that have been disenfranchised.
Okoye, yeah.
The way he's going about it, yes, it does involve a lot of violence, which makes him a good villain.
D&D in general has a lot of violence in it. So
But his motivations, if you're looking at it from his side, he could honestly be considered a neutral or chaotic good character.
yeah, if you were to run a campaign based on kill, well, no, I'd still probably put him more at a...
lawful evil.
No, I'd put him at a true neutral if we were to give Killmonger, like, maybe a neutral evil, because he does...
Well, I was thinking for the good because he's trying to take care of those that are unable to take care of themselves.
But at the same time, there's, like...
But
there's a lot of collateral damage for what he does.
Yeah,
and
if you're
he
looking
doesn't
at it
care.
from outside, then yes,
Do
you
you
could get that
mean
evil or neutral.
PCs?
So, really quick, spoiler. Like, he kills his girlfriend. Like, just, kind of shoots through, and he's like, I'm sorry, I got to do this to get Clue. And she's like, yep, nope, I get it. And, just blows his girlfriend away. End of spoilers. But, like, it's little things like that. Like, he's still evil, but there's a lot of people who really, really, like...
Sympathize with them?
Yeah. So, moving on. Jesse, you and I are going to have some words next time you show up to D&D. We are going to have a gentleman's discussion over a glass of whiskey. Moving on though. So, Black Panther. Oh, another thing about
feudalism.
I guess that's the last thing too. Yeah. If you want a perfect example of how feudalism is great and then can be like just
super dumb,
super bad in just 5 minutes.
That whole
Black Panther.
coronation scene, with the waterfall, super great, costumed awesome. You should always have a ceremonial thing at a dope waterfall lair. But also, if you have
my secret volcano lair.
Exactly, if you're a water themed, person instead of fire themed, not me. But if you have a structure in place where somebody can challenge the legitimate heir to the throne and they win, well,
Can work really good or really bad. You
Also-
get to see both.
yeah.
Also, in closing, every time I see my coworkers drinking something now, I do have a penchant just to go, you will now have the powers of the Black Panther stripped away. But
Harsh.
I can't help it.
Also, I'm super glad Vine is alive and well in Black Panther with Shuri representing the. What are those?
Yeah. Also, they still have Vine in Wakanda. But that's enough about Wakanda.
See, that's how we know it's truly a magical wonderland.
Yes.
They still have Vine.
Vine star and Disney princess, Dr. Shuri.
Yeah, Vine never died. Okay, but moving on. So we scoured the internet.
Did we now?
Well, not
Yes.
really,
Oh,
but
yeah.
Very briefly
You did,
scoured the
yeah.
very briefly. So last couple of weeks, though, I've been seeing a lot about this on various Facebook pages and Reddit and stuff like that. And it's the Noble class. And so I've put Nacho and Paul all over reading that. So, gentlemen.
1 second, I'm quickly pulling mine up.
We did already have a technical difficulty in
Yeah.
the car because
Yeah.
they were reading different.
Turns out there's a couple different nobles.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, a lot of people have been cranking this out as a class.
So I'm going to give a brief history for those who aren't overly familiar with it. I'm pretty sure, while noble stat blocks have existed since back in first edition, noble as a class existed in third edition as one of the 5 NPC classes, along with commoner, warrior, expert, and adept. So these classes were not intended for players. They weren't very good at their jobs. They got kind of crappy class features, and the adept was still a tier 3 class because it was a caster in caster edition, so it was better than the fighter and the monk and all that. But the noble had an interesting set of goals where it was kind of a bad fighter, and I'm glad to see they moved away from that.
Yeah. So, going over this class, it has D6 hit die.
That's
What's
I'll talk about that in a moment.
what are the proficiencies?
At
Nacho?
level
A
1.
D6 hit die.
Yeah.
There are no armor proficiencies.
Sweet.
For weapons, you pick one simple weapon of your choice
Sweet.
and 2 tools of your choice.
Okay.
Screwdriver to
And then-
crowbar.
For your saving throws, you have wisdom and charisma.
Decent. Those are
Yeah, those are
useful
fine.
against mind control.
This is a charisma-based class.
Yeah,
pretty
and
heavily,
then
so.
for your skills, you get to choose 3 between acrobatics, animal handling, because you have to have a noble steed,
Of course.
which I know Jake is adamant
Pegasus.
against.
Not against, it's just it's hard to plan.
Yeah.
History, insight, intimidation, investigation, medicine, nature, perception, performance, persuasion, or religion. So pretty much all of them.
Okay, so good things first. It already has perception as a class skill, so it's already gone up about halfway. Like, perception's
Standards
a
are
good
low
skill.
here.
I should note a D6 hit die is very low. It's about as low as it gets in 5th
Yeah, that's a
edition.
wizard. Yeah.
Though at that
Same as a
point,
wizard.
Pretty
it's
floppy.
with a noble. Generally, you're raised in a tower, and you're not sitting out there on the front lines with, let's say, the warriors or the barbarians.
Well, I mean, but as I'm sure Helen's aware, in most feudal societies, nobles would expected to be acting in elite units,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
no,
in
you would
military
be-
service.
yeah.
You
You
would
get
be commanding all your peasants.
you'd get some experience, but
You'd also
your
be expected
whole
to be a
life
knight.
isn't devoted to being out there.
Depends on
Probably-
what kind of noble you are
Well, yeah.
and what kind of setting you have.
You still
But-
probably have more hit points than a bard.
Right, yeah, you'd probably be at least lifting, even if you're not, plowing the fields.
But that does come into the subclasses for noble.
yes, there's
Yeah, but those don't improve
Yeah.
your hit dice.
No, not your hit dice.
Admittedly, one of the good features that
Just roll good.
the noble has, first of all, is that they add their charisma to their armor class, which quickly makes their armor class quite good.
Ah, yes, that's
Uh,
because you need that charisma to command people. Does noble get any kind of
Somehow.
Yeah,
That
they're,
just-
warlord features?
Really quick as an aside, though, that just cracks me up because I can just see like an orc barreling down at the noble, axe overhead, and as he's about to swing, the noble just turns and smiles at him with perfect teeth, and he just misses because
do you know who I am?
the sun glints off the teeth, and
So-
he just,
Oh, God.
Here's a bad thing, though. If the thing that's attacking you has either immunity to being charmed or has advantage against it, they get advantage on attack rolls against you.
Oh, geez.
That seems rough.
That sounds a
Especially
little
because, for example,
unbalanced,
all
yeah.
undead are
Ooh.
now attacking at advantage against you.
Well, that's because
Elves
they're
are
not
not
like,
attacking with
oh,
advantage
that's a
against
lord.
you."
That could have political ramifications if I attack them. They're like,
Right, they know
I
who
don't
you are.
care. I'm already dead.
Well, yeah, but see, at the same time,
I don't care
giving
about
them
your teeth.
advantage to attack you seems like, oh, I hate these nobles so much, even though I'm mindless scum.
Eat the rich brains.
Well, that's because I feel that
Advantage
defense
seems
is
a bit
more
rough.
of a. You just see their
Aura.
position, aura of power and position.
They're nice hats.
So then people start to second guess themselves when they want to swing at them.
I know, but I'm saying they get advantage to attack you if they have advantage against being charmed.
Yeah, that's a little wild.
That seems a bit rough.
Well, yeah, with the d6 hit dice, that could be difficult, but I feel this would be more of a stand in the back and support type of class.
Yeah, kind of warlord.
Yeah, it's got an interesting pool system called Majesty, which rolls
Where you
a
get
number of-
lines of majesty to go with your big beefy arm.
Well, no, because your arms are tiny and wimpy.
Oh,
Remember,
fair.
this
Yeah,
is
they're
a
noodly, yeah.
D6 hit die class. So Majesty,
Just the one.
I'm not sure I personally like this. Majesty is you roll a number of D4s equal to your charisma bonus, and that's your Majesty level until your next short or long rest.
What does majesty do?
You can spend it to use your different features. So you have a random amount of your points available to you every time you short or long rest.
Yeah,
Okay, sure.
just
alright.
pulling this up real quick. Like, you can use Calm Emotions or Command for one of your Majesty points, but it'll have the effect of that spell, but it won't be magical in nature. So I assume that means that the NPC won't become hostile to you because they realize you used magic.
Well, you're not using magic on them, obviously.
Yeah.
so you're just trying to bully them into doing your thing.
For
You're
two,
using your wiles.
yeah, for 2 of your points, you can use Suggestion.
That's pretty scary, but, what are you going to do about it?
Gotta make up for, all that weakness against uncharmable creatures, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, another thing that the noble specific has going for them is they've got an attendant, like a butler or a
A
batman to do
pet
things for you.
NPC, yeah.
Go shopping for me, attendant.
Yes, you can also send them
Do
into
coconut
combat for you.
noises.
But here's my problem: the attendant does not level up as you level up. So
Aw,
this
no.
class is going to be quite good at first level and completely useless after 4th level.
Let's
Where
see.
you're just like constantly shielding your terrible little killable.
Well, because your minion's gonna die horribly whenever something breathes it funny.
Right.
But hey, they have 12 hit points.
Oh, 12 hit points.
Oh,
Almost like you can
an
die
an
to a
armor
longsword
class of
hit.
14,
These are not exactly thrilling
Can you just
numbers.
buff the hell out of it?
and they have a dagger.
Just put on buffs here. Just mage armor.
Yeah, this is a thrilling class feature. The ability to have an attendant die
Totally.
horribly for you.
Yeah, no. Well,
And then
So
you
they
just get another
regenerate?
one in a month's time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1 month between getting to use your class feature.
sorry guys, we can't go to the new dungeon. I don't have my new butler yet. He hasn't come from the butler store yet.
Return him open.
All right, go wrestle that ogre. What?
Oh no!
Why?
Because
he threatened me.
It's like a bag of rats, but he can carry stuff.
Be gone, peasant.
Yeah, this is a class feature that I feel like was not play tested, or somebody have noticed. Hey,
Didn't-
beyond 3rd level, this kind of sucks.
Yeah, right. You're just.
Well,
Toting
the
him
attendant,
around.
that's more for your RP stuff. So let's say.
Yeah, but you
you're-
get that with your noble background anyway. You get 2 attendants.
Yeah, but let's say you want to start.
now you get 3 if you go
And one
if you
is
play a
disposable.
noble with a noble background. So, well, here's the fun stuff about this class, right? Because I think all of us, like, after going through it, we all agree that unless a player was like had a really good idea and was dead set,
And was willing to suck.
and was not necessarily suck. I mean, they're going to be useless in combat, but if you're running a very political heavy game,
Then you'd rather be playing a bard anyway.
Oh no!
well, you'd probably rather be playing a bard. But this is still there's a lot of fun flavor stuff in here.
Honestly, I feel that my bard or the rogue that I played in your evil campaign, I feel like I could have been a lot more dangerous using this class just with all the extra
Non-magical spells.
persuasion type abilities.
Yeah. Which leads us to like the ultimate uses for this class. This class, though, like I kind of wish we would have gone over it on the villains episode, because this class does make a good like raising stat block, like a levelable stat block for a villain. If you're
Not a
running,
villain that's going to run out and fight you, of course.
no, more the guy
Or
who's
one
at
who
the
sits in a tower and skis.
the guy who sits at the top of the pyramid, and you just swap that attendant with somebody who can kick a little more ass, just like I don't know, about
points and a dagger.
about
Oh,
four
boy.
times more ass,
Several
just
more levels worth of mass.
yeah, just kicks that much
About
up more
5
ass.
fighter levels
But hey,
worth of ass
you
kicking.
do
Yeah.
still get some healing abilities with it.
Yeah,
Like at level 1, you have encouraging words where take your
It'd be nice if you could heal.
take your noble levels, multiply it by 5, and then you can give that as temporary hit points. At 2nd level, you could use that to actually heal people.
Oh, nice.
I mean, but you restore all your hit points in a short rest.
I mean you do, but at the same time, have you ever had somebody go, "I've been stabbed," and you go, "No, you're gonna be okay." Oh my God, it closed in front of my eyes.
Yeah. Oh, you're level 10. Sweet. Here's 50 extra meat points for you, and then the paladin can then use his lay on hands. And
You know what would be better than having 50 extra meat points? Having a character with 50 hit points that you could use instead of having those 50 meat points on one character.
yeah, well, no, that's for healing allies. You can't use that on yourself.
I know, or you could just play a fighter and have those extra 50 hit points on your own.
Paul,
But-
I need you to show me the bottle of haterade that you chugged
Yeah.
before we started this show, because
Because we didn't see it.
your hatred for this noble is unexpected and
I mean,
profound and a little
You know what?
beautiful.
It's not very good.
Paul, invite me into your game. I will play a noble, and I will completely
die.
destroy your
will
whole
die.
setting.
Gonna get
As
assassinated.
Jake found out, you will die.
I will destroy your whole setting,
It's okay though. I sweet talk death into letting me come back, because you can't beat a 30 on persuasion.
You can't.
especially not as a noble with all that extra perks.
Until you roll it 2, and then death just sort of looks at you and goes,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there
what
was
you playing at?
whenever you roll a persuasion or deception check, your result can never be lower than your majesty score, so long as your majesty score is 6 or higher.
Wow, congratulations, you rolled a 6. That's really going to convince them.
So,
The lines
oh
of
wait,
majesty.
yeah.
Is that it? You're just throwing in the towel there, Nacha?
Well,
Shredded.
yeah. At that point, when you're trying to convince death to bring you back, yeah, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's still I love the idea
I would
of
not recommend this for players. I think it's got interesting uses for NPCs, which is what we're talking about after all.
yeah. I think it does build like I want to see more stuff like this. I honestly would love to buy like a small little book of just levelable
NPC
NPC stat lines, like different villain archetypes and other little things you can do, like A good example would be like a levelable bandit captain.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
which
He runs
I
away
mean, you could,
occasionally and
you know,
needs a return
sure. I mean,
call,
you could
yeah.
do it on your own. You know,
And
like
just
a little
tweak
bit
the
of
stats.
yeah, a little barbarian, a little fighter there and stuff. But it'd be nice.
Would it be more fighter rogue?
It depends. It depends on, you know, if he's a bandit captain in the city, fight a rogue. If he's a bandit captain on the side of the road, bandit barbarian fighter.
Highwayman.
Makes sense.
Yeah, hit me in the face. I dare you. Punch me. I dare you.
I do think, again, I think this class is fine. I just don't think it's a very good player class.
I think I will only disagree with you slightly. It depends. It's one of those things where, again, if it's a very political game where fights don't happen at the drop of a hat, then I could see this class being useful. Not as good as a bard, but still useful, because not everybody wants to be an asshole with a, guitar on their back.
Anyway, here's
Okay,
Wonderwall.
Yeah,
show me one example where they don't.
No, exactly. No, that's all bards do, is they just walk in and they're just like, all right, everybody, that's cool. I'd like to have sex with you, and here's Wonderwall.
Yeah.
I said maybe.
Glibness.
And then, for some reason, as soon as he starts playing Wonderwall, all the guards come in, and it just turns into a massive brawl.
Yeah, no, I don't know why.
Hey
but
man, that's fighting music.
you no, bards are just the best at starting problems.
They
yeah,
are.
basically.
Bards do not solve problems. They simply cause another problem to happen instead.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you start a bigger fire next to a little fire, then the little fire goes out.
It just becomes part of the bigger fire.
Yeah.
Ah!
It's
But
like, see,
besides
this
all
problem's
that-
gone.
But besides all that, so final thoughts on Noble.
I've already said my piece.
So okay, Paul
Probably-
doesn't like it. Nacho.
I do like it, but you'd have to be playing it you'd have to have very specific things, goals and such in mind when you're doing it.
Right.
Because if
Yeah,
you're
a
not
trusted
oriented
player.
towards one thing, then it's real easy to screw up. But
Yeah.
I feel like if you play it right, you can become a power player with it.
Oh yeah, you could definitely
Despite being an
manipulate
assist.
people very well with
And
it.
your glass pet NPC at higher levels.
Oops, I dropped too many broke.
Well, if you take the lineage of diplomacy, you get a guardian that
Ooh.
doesn't level up and
30 hit points.
31
Ooh.
hit points.
Gets mauled by an ogre in 2 hits instead
And this
of
one,
1.
and then you have a squishy NPC with a longsword on top of your dagger NPC,
Who's
and
also squishy.
So you're saying is it takes an ogre 2 rounds to kill your way through your assistance rather than
Ho-ho.
1.
yeah, that's 2 rounds of dashing to get away from the ogre.
Yeah.
True.
An honest, like, I think, way that would buff the hell out of this class is if they gave it something akin to the leadership feat.
Yeah, just a
I think that-
scaling number of NPCs.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. Something you could, like, something to do with this is just take the old leadership feat from Pathfinder and 3.5 and just tack it on to what this class already has, because then suddenly, and I've
Or
that's
if you
something
could-
I've been meaning to look up to is like a rework of leadership for 5th edition. Not because I necessarily want to have it as a thing, because leadership's fun until everybody in your party takes it.
And then they just fight.
Well,
Oops,
if they
now we
did
have
it to
twice as
where
many
they
player characters.
yeah, if they did it to where you could just get a discount on your hirelings, make them cost less, that would
Yeah.
also
Well, see, the
help
problem
out.
with leadership is it just gave you a character that was 2 levels lower
Yeah.
than you as like an assistant.
And then like
They could take leadership.
6 other characters.
the chain of
all
command
the-
gets more of a net
Yeah.
than a chain.
But I could see something like that for this being a lot of fun, because
Yeah.
that is still a class that we really don't have in 5e, is something that does has
Throw
its little,
dudes at people.
yeah, just throws little minions at people.
Yeah, just rally all the peasants, make a railgun, and
Yeah, the peasant railgun is formed with a bucket of water or a stick
Or a rock.
or a rock. All right,
All right,
so
well, besides all that,
that's enough on.
Please see one of our earlier episodes. I forget which one, but we go in depth in the peasant railgun.
I think that was the New Year's episode.
Yeah, I
so
think it
too.
was too. All right, but moving on. So ultimately, if you want to, you can track down the Noble. We will post the link to it if you want to check it out for yourself. I guess we give it a 2 out of 3.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it definitely seems like
2
a
out of 3
better
people recommend it.
NPC than
Yeah,
player
2 out of
character.
2 out of 3 DMs recommend checking out the Noble, except for Paul.
The
But
I
speaking-
have my reasons.
Yeah, no. But
Sipping on the haterade.
so
So much haterade.
moving
I
on
have
to
my
NPCs, because while we were putting the show together today, that's something we realized we really haven't touched on is
NPCs who aren't villains.
NPCs who aren't villains, and
Useful NPC.
how do other people use them, and how do you interact with them? Again, if you're watching this, go ahead and comment. We love to talk to you. If you comment on the chat, we like to answer your questions live and have a little back and forth.
Jake's not trying to fight with Jesse.
I'm just trying not to fight with Jesse because we can do that in person later.
Yes.
In the parking lot.
On the moon. So, NPCs. Paul, you actually said you have a great list of NPCs that other players and other games of yours have sent you.
Yes, my
In
players
preparation.
have sent me in advance some of the NPCs that I should talk about. And the first one was Magellan, an NPC in a science fiction game I was running.
Did he explore?
Actually, no, he was a prison warden.
Oh, that's
It's the opposite.
that's
basically.
literally that is literally nothing like I thought it would be.
So, the very first, I guess, episode, the very first session was them busting their fearless leader out of prison because he had been put in prison on political charges. So they break into the prison and they bust into the security station to deal with people so they can unlock the doors and get him out, obviously.
Yeah.
And the prison warden turns around and is about to say something, and one of the characters just instantly kills him.
Yeah.
Like, imagine a second-level character hitting somebody for 50 damage due to lucky criticals, and that's basically what happened.
Nice.
He survived because he was bleeding out when they unlocked the doors and ran off, and he came back later all cyborged up to come threaten them
Heck
and
yeah.
ask them what the heck they thought they were doing busting a known criminal out of prison, especially because they'd left a taunting note on his body saying that,
We teabagged
telling him
you,
to
by
think
the
about
way.
how he got messed up while he was recovering. And this just kept happening. Things like this just kept happening to this guy. And he kept getting more and more frustrated with the player characters. And it came to the realization everyone realized that they were the bad guys and he was the hero of this story and he was going to get them eventually. Because
The long con bait and switch, yes.
he had only ever acted in the public interest. And they had kept screwing him over for no good reason. So it developed not a sort of friendly rivalry, but a rivalry, where they just, when they ran into him, they knew something bad was about to happen because they were about to ruin his life again.
It's like,
like
that's kind of like Metal Gear Solid and how Snake, and then with both Ocelot and Miller, how
Michael Edwards comments that I think you just described the pilot episodes of the 70s BBC sci-fi show Blake's 7. It makes me think of the cabbage cart guy from Avatar:
Yeah,
The
I was
Last
about
Airbender.
to say, Cabbage's guy.
Oh, that
best NPC. My cabbages!
that poor man.
That poor man. But
Just ruined Miguel's life so hard.
When murder
They
hoboing,
broke into his job and burned down his workplace. Like,
when murder hoboing goes wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
so that's a good example of like an NB, like just somebody who
Like the Javert to your party's Valjean. Yes.
yes.
I
Where
was
you're
more-
like,
I don't
huh,
speak your fancy French.
maybe we're the
It's from
bad
Les
guys.
Miserables.
I was
The guy who fights
Les
Russell
Miserables.
Crowe.
I'm more referring to though the lovely conceit that every DM has to deal with at some point where an NPC who you just like, yeah, this is Rob. Rob is a fisherman. Oh, we like Rob the fisherman. Please give us more Rob.
Can we keep him?
Can we keep him? Can he become our pet? Can we see him all the time? Hey, what's Rob doing? Hey, how's Rob's family?
Can we use Rob's
Yes,
boat?
I had a similar thing where they ran into I think it was Sheriff Samuel, who they eventually shanghaied into running several towns because they liked him more than any of the other local. Was like, okay, Samuel's running it now. Samuel's like 80 years old.
Delegation, y'all.
He's running it now.
He's wise.
We'll set him up.
So NPCs. Let's talk about more importantly though. Let's go through the process of how we all do our NPCs.
Yeah, of course.
And so obviously there's random town guys. There's you have some. Usually, whenever I'm putting together a game like that's set in a city, I've got a list of names and a list of positions, and then I just kind of
Mix and match.
Mix and
Yeah,
match
you
and,
assign,
free
assign
flow.
barkeepers and armor dealers.
Yeah,
and
you
stuff
want to
like that,
bring
yeah.
a list of names that you can just assign to random people.
And then try to I try to keep it basic with personality tropes and stuff like that. But the real NPC creation, the real difficult stuff, comes when you have somebody who or you need to try to make interact with the party, which is a bit of a difficult task to do because you have to A, force a confrontation between this person and the rest of the party. B, you have to make the party either love them, know that they're incredibly useful, or hate them so much that for whatever reason they want to see everything that this person has burned to the ground spectacularly.
Harsh.
But not just regular kill them.
Oh, and then you also have to sacrifice 2 goats and a cow so that the party doesn't just run
Off
away
them.
and go find Rob the fisherman.
Yeah,
To do that job instead.
yeah, you have to. Yeah, it's
A balancing act.
yeah, no, it is a very difficult juggling act. So Nacho,
It's like getting
as
toddlers to eat new
probably
food.
the newest DM sitting here at the table, how
I think I actually have the most years playing at this table,
so, yeah.
but
Awesome.
I have the
Popular.
least amount of DM time.
yeah. So have you already had this problem? Have you had like
Oh, yeah.
you threw a plot important DM or DM NPC or something like
Yeah,
that?
like I've thrown helpful NPCs out there, and it's like, hey, you know what? They can become your ally since, the whole party, they want to sit out here and cause all these shenanigans. So, okay, sweet. I'll introduce this NPC
He's a rowdy boy.
and build it around them so that if they just talk to him, hey, you know what? He's going to align with their goals, help them out. The warlock decided to get NPCs to come with him because, oh yeah, this guy has all your merchandise and other stuff.
Uh-oh.
Walks into the dude's house, immediately starts combat.
Ah, jeez.
Warlock
Classic.
just barely makes it out of there. They walk into a tavern. The bard's like, hey, I want to play. Make some money. Oh, well, there's already a bard in here playing music, and she became important for a while.
oh god.
They spent about 7 hours caring about Jenny the elf bard. One of the guys is like, yeah, in my backstory, the love of my life ran away, and that's Jenny. And it's like, well, crap.
Shit.
Damn it.
You pulled that card early.
See, so it's like,
Can't throw her away now. Still
Again,
need her.
no plan survives contact with your
it's
players.
like,
so.
this character doesn't matter. Oh, nope, now this character's important. Hey,
We're
here's
gonna
an
recruit them.
here's a
Yeah.
powerful ally for you. Oh, we're gonna start combat. It's like, well,
Well, that just sounds like a your group problem. I mean, I have had
Well,
groups
that-
like
No,
that in the
that's
past.
a problem. It's a pretty
it,
consistent
it's
problem.
whenever you play this game, it always happens. I've been guilty of it,
Yeah, I mean, I've
probably more than most people at this table.
Heck,
I've
in our
spent most of
Wednesday
my
game, Jake
time-
gave me a pet NPC.
recruiting random people into a mercenary company when they lost their jobs because I liked them. So
So, Paul, what's your? Let's go through your process on NPC creations, and then is there any like NPC that you can think of that you've made that has worked very effectively with the party?
a couple, yes. I've run a lot of games, so obviously these NPCs do tend to show up and disappear and show up and disappear. When creating an NPC, there's a couple things you need to keep in mind. You can describe them all you want, but players aren't going to remember that description unless you give them a single like distinguishing feature. So they've got a
Here's
big
the
scar,
fire, yeah.
or they've got bright orange hair, or something like that. Boom, there you go. Carrot top.
Got a beautiful bow tie.
So NPCs need to have a major distinguishing feature, and they need to have a strong and obvious personality. Because while writers obviously can get into nuance, you are describing a story to 4 people who aren't really paying as much attention as the average literary critic is to a book.
So, Paul, I play with you in Wednesday, and you do kind of have a voice for Basric, but do you do voices like as much as Jake does when DMing?
It depends
Okay,
on the
fair.
game. Sometimes I do like to switch up the voices, sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
It depends how silly the character is, basically.
Fair. Yeah, Jake is very good with voices and pretty good at silly voices.
Every single
Especially.
hobo I've ever played has a different voice.
Prospector humor, like Will Ferrell, Prospector.
Yeah, I ain't healthy. I
Yeah.
like my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to give y'all props on doing the voices. I try, but
Voices
I am
are tricky.
in no way, shape, or form any type of voice actor.
Well, whiskey helps.
Being drunk helps.
Being
yes.
drunk helps with voices immensely because you're no longer judging your own
self-concerned.
performance.
No,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I want to give them this type of accent.
This is the amount of times I've had my Irish accent slip into Australian.
Just
Oh,
is-
no, that's what I do.
if you really want to do it,
Mid-sentence, it switches from, like, oh, this is far west, and, oh, now it's going way to the east.
all
Yeah,
I'm
you
saying
need
is
to-
just
yeah,
outrageous
practice.
accents are a good way to make up for that.
Yeah, exactly. That makes them memorable.
but
So on top of all that, a character that you create, an NPC that you create, keep in mind any NPC your characters don't latch onto within the first, I guess, scene they're in. They're probably not going to latch onto after that unless they're crucially important.
And you need to throw them back.
For
at your
example, I had a fairly I don't want to call him boring, but he was pretty white bread. NPC named Dr. Boggs, who helped the PCs in almost every conceivable way, and who at the same time had something to say on everything. But people liked him less than they liked the man living by the dockside, trying his best to make his life work with all the horrible things that were happening around the city. People cared less about old Dr. Boggs.
I definitely feel you on that. I think one of the better, probably the best NPC I've ever come up with, and this is where I sit on NPC creation now that it's kind of my turn. So when it comes to me making important NPCs, I usually there's three things I look for. Are they, if they're going to be with the party for a significant time, do they fill any role that the party cannot do for itself? Or are they going to be clashing with somebody? Because obviously when you're making an NPC, and I'm going to make a pretty extreme comparison here, but if you've seen The Last Jedi, everybody's favorite little soccer ball droid, BB-8, is the best example of how not to do an NPC. Because while Finn and Rose are running around on the big old ship,
on the casino planet on Canto Bight.
Well, they're also on the casino planet.
But then on the Star Destroyer.
Yeah, while they're on the Super Star Destroyer,
Baby's new ride.
Yeah. They, while they're running around and being completely ineffective, BB-8 single-handedly jacks into an AT Walker, kills about 300 stormtroopers.
That's lowballing.
Yeah. Flies that ship off of the casino planet.
Yeah,
in the
flies
first
the ship off the casino planet. Basically, if that was a D&D game, that is your party running around, and stuff, and
all
just
the NPC solves everything.
Yeah, sucking at everything, and BB-8 just comes in and fixes the problems. And we're sitting there in the audience yeah, that's great. But then after the movie, I was like, wow, they made Finn, who was awesome in the first movie, just kind of
useless.
We're running around, we're doing laps. Now I'm going to contrast that and compare that to R2-D2, the best droid in the series. I will fight you on the moon.
Oh, I love R2.
And here's why. R2-D2.
He's the best NPC sort of character.
Yeah, he's also the best example of an NPC sort of character. And here's why. He is useful. He's recognizable. He's likable, but he never single-handedly dominates what you could classify the party as doing.
Yeah, he fills great assistance roles.
The original trilogy.
Yeah.
In the prequels,
I'm not
going to
talk about the Geonosis factory scene.
Yeah, well, we're not even going to talk about the prequels. Yeah, the only thing he does in the original trilogy that is crucial and vital is when he saves them from the trash compactor.
Yeah, though.
But even then, that is a great D&D encounter in and of itself. There's something in the compactor, the walls are closing in, and your beloved little buddy, is up there trying to help you, and you're just like, we love you, character. Please help.
You have this skill that we don't.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And since Paul brought up the prequels, think about it this way: R2-D2 was in his young, rambunctious days, and then as he started to get older,
Got wisdom.
his wheels don't spin as fast anymore.
His jump
his joints are a little bit creaky, so
He's just swearing at Luke.
so he just tones it back a bit.
It still really upsets me, too, that these droids are basically sentient, thinking, living things, and we just tack them on stuff to get blown up because they're not real. I'm surprised the droids haven't risen up and tried to kill everybody yet in Star Wars, but whatever.
Oh,
I'm
hold on.
There's an arc in Clone Wars about that.
Yeah, there is. Remember the Droid Wars?
Clone Wars,
True.
The Droid Wars.
Yeah, it's quite. But that same sort of thing, though, having an NPC kind of like BB-8 who does a lot of stuff, sometimes when your players are just rolling real bad, that might be useful.
Yeah,
to,
sometimes you got to have them
from
step up.
dying.
So, but, back to the main thing. When it comes to integrating somebody, you want them to simultaneously be very helpful, but not outdo the players. My favorite NPC I've ever made is Fairweem Spartak, the socially awkward orc wizard. Smartest orc of his generation. He's a wizard, Harry. Okay, he's smart enough.
Intelligence 16, smartest orc of his generation.
Yep. And with some levels, he's finally hit intelligence 20. Einstein the orc, the smartest orc possibly of all time. But he immediately became endearing to the characters, to my party, for two reasons. A, my party loves to roll damage dice, and he was a wizard, so all I had to do was have him do battlefield control-y tactics, and every now and again throw out a fireball just to remind everybody, hey, yeah, he can roll a bunch of dice too. But, for the most part, darkness, grease, wall of force,
You Useful spells.
Useful
I love
spells.
Grease.
And now he hangs out with a halfling that thinks he's an orc.
Yeah.
Good old
So
man.
Good old buddy comedy.
You know, he was always very helpful in combat, but he never
Stole the scene.
Yeah, he
you're
never
saying.
stole the scene. And then also too, it was a lot of his personality because I tried to take as many. There's another NPC that's his brother, which is the most standard orc to orc. You know, he's big,
A
he's
jock.
strong. He's big, he's strong. He likes to fight people. He likes to kick all the ass. On the flip, Fairweem is very shy. Very, he doesn't like to make eye contact. He, cowers himself, even though he's like 6'10". But he only looks like he's 6'6" because he's always just kind of hiding in his little bubble.
He would
And
stand 6'10" if he could only just stand up straight.
Yeah, and and he doesn't make eye contact, and he always like talks very softly and has no faith in himself. And for whatever reason, the party, just because they were playing basically the cool kids, they're just like, no, man, you get to sit with us. You get to sit at the cool kids table.
Yeah, actually, Irvine is a huge
They loved him.
call-out.
Yeah, no, they loved him.
I just want to backtrack to where he said he doesn't make eye contact with anyone. He makes eye contact with my character all the
Well,
time.
yeah, but
just
you're
because
3
I'm
foot tall.
Yeah. Still makes eye contact.
It's because you're a bunch of jocks. You don't understand what cool kids are thinking about.
So that's rule 1: is never ever
Overshadow the party.
Yeah, never overshadow the party. Now, rule 2 is the only excuse to break rule 1, and that is if you are using an NPC to literally introduce like a brand new plot line. For example, the party finished off their first chapter of the campaign, or however you want to phrase it, and they beat that villain, and they've spent the last 5 months drinking and whoring because that's all every party does on downtime.
Yeah.
Buy some land, buy some
And then
land.
finally, they get, oh, hey, yeah, you guys got another little thing to go do. So they go off and they go do their little thing. You introduce them to a very powerful NPC who doesn't necessarily have to fight the party, but he,
Has a quest.
flexes the might, a little bit, shows, hey, there's a problem. Hey, I need your help. And even though he's a big bad guy, he's a big, tough, mean dude or powerful wizard or druid, however you want to phrase it. Paul, you were going to say something.
I was going to say, I think you might remember in the very first game we played together, you had an ogre hire you to do some jobs for her. And that was another way I introduced, I think, a pretty cool NPC, because she introduced a couple plot lines, one after another, because she said, oh, yeah, you're great hunting buddies. Hey, can you help me hunt a dragon? That'd be nice.
Just real chill.
There's a dragon we
Real
need to
cash.
hunt. Can I can pay you for it.
Yeah.
Will you help me hunt a dragon?
There's several ways to do it, but yes, introducing an NPC who's outshines the party just a little bit can be done effectively if and only if the party can outpace that person really quick. Like a good example would be a level 12 NPC compared to a party of level 8s. Because still the party of level 8s could just get in a circle around the level 12 and kick them in the shins to death.
That's true.
But the raw power of the level 12 will eventually be balanced out because it won't take the party too long, and
To
as long as
catch
you
up.
use them sparingly.
Yeah, don't take a level 4 party and then introduce Beerus the Destroyer.
Yeah. Or, if we're even going to
Unless
do...
they're a villain.
the best way to put it is like Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings does a great job of that because obviously, you've got the Fellowship, you've got the Hobbits, and then, oh, by the way, Gandalf.
Yeah, he's there.
M-effing Gandalf.
He just goes off and
Hey,
gets
don't
thrown,
mind me,
gets
I'm
kidnapped.
just a level 16 wizard, and Aragorn, what level are you? 5. I can attack twice around. Cool. Yeah, no, I'm still way better than all of you. But it's done right in that movie because, the Balrog shows up and everyone's like, oh, crap.
Yeah, and then Gandalf gets them all to leave so that he can get all the sweet loot and levels.
Yeah, he gets all the sweet loot and levels, but at the same time,
He's like, I got this.
good way to write out an NPC. Then he comes back later because everyone loves him and yada, yada, yada. But that is about the only time you should ever introduce somebody who outshines the party.
By a crazy amount.
And still try to let them have the limelight, try to let them have fun. And then rule number 3 that's vital for me to NPC is just, if they hate him, just drop him.
Just kill him.
Or have him die.
I've
Fill
realized,
in an open sewer and drown.
yeah, I've realized way too much. There's been a lot of times where I've just wanted an NPC to work, and I've tried too hard to make it work when the players just obviously don't give a damn about said NPC. So just give up.
Sometimes you flex the ability of, instead of Rock Falls everybody dies, it's Rock Falls NPC dies.
Just the one.
Or just have them get arrowed or something
Yeah.
while walking.
Falls
over
in
the
an
bottom.
open sewer and drowns.
Suddenly, owlbears burst in.
Or introduce a big bad that assassinates him.
Yeah,
And then sweet, here's your plot hook.
and
You're
hopefully they
arrested
take
for
it,
tax
or
fraud.
maybe they just don't care. They're like,
Yeah, just-
thank you for getting
Yeah,
rid of him. He was
yeah.
annoying.
Go find this guy and congratulate him.
So,
Why have you slaughtered your way through all of my minions? We wanted to thank you for killing off the guy we didn't like. Okay.
You have a funny way of showing that.
but yeah, no, I guess when it comes to, wrapping up with NPCs here, just, final little notes on fun stuff with NPCs. My final, favorite little conceit to do with NPCs is watching a group, because I've had some girls play at the table before, but most of my groups usually end up just being dudes. And
Unfortunately, just kind of the hobby is.
yeah, that's kind of the way the hobby's set up, but
That's changing, thankfully.
yeah. But there is nothing funnier than introducing the very cute girl NPC and then watching all of your male friends awkwardly hit on you
Yep.
As the NPC.
Yeah,
as the NPC.
Yeah, that's what happened when they tried to perform in the bar. It turned into, oh, now I'm Jenny and all my friends at the table want me.
Yeah. No, there's nothing better than just having your friend who's a little drunk. Tom, I'm sorry for putting you on the spot like this.
Gee, I'm sorry.
But just just having Tom who's a little drunk and describing he's like, what's the cutest girl in the bar look like? And I describe her, and he's like, all right, Jake, I'm about to spit some game at you. I'm just like, and I just grab my drink and I'm like, okay, buckle
Here
up.
we go.
All right, guys. So we gotta wrap the show up here. A couple of things, couple of announcements, I suppose. So college is a thing, and everybody here except for me is in college in some shape, way, or form, including our other host Clint, who is sometimes here, sometimes he's not. Point is, everybody here is pretty busy, and it's everything's kind of culminating, and people are running out of time. So we're gonna have to put the show on hiatus for about 2 months until people, until everybody's
Until the semester ends.
yeah, until the semester ends and everybody's schedule can clean up, because it's
If
we
I
all
get
got
another C, I'm gonna get kicked out of my program.
yeah, if we got we all got finite time. So here's what we're gonna do. In the meantime, we will be back to doing weekly shows in 2 months. We are going to, on our Facebook page, I believe Paul and I are going to be doing, and Nacho and Clint, and whenever we can get time, we're gonna try to do some short videos talking about things that are happening or things that are going on, to put on the Facebook page just to tide people over. We're not happy about having to do this hiatus either, but it's
just the way the world
it's
is.
got to happen right now. So on that depressing bombshell,
We will be making fun stuff.
Yeah, we will be
including
making-
DM's Guild stuff.
yeah, we are going to. However, in that time, we are also going to try to get the Riragon City thing on the DM's Guild for everybody to use, and we're just going to try to do what content we can when we can. So we'll be back in April, I believe is the plan. End of April.
Yes.
We're shooting for the end of April to bring the show back. We're just going on a little hiatus. It will be back in some form or fashion, some way. We're gonna figure it out.
You can support Podcast Detroit and help them create their Ann Arbor studio. So you don't
Yeah,
have to drive
yeah.
an hour
That
to
would
get out
make
here.
things much easier.
So I guess in closing, if you like our stuff, please please share, please tell people about it. We're gonna keep coming out with
Producing
content.
content.
We're gonna start getting stuff on YouTube and
And don't forget,
get
the
our stuff all
contest-
figured out.
The likes contest is still on, so tell your friends.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
still looking for 500 likes on our page.
We will not cancel that.
Yep. Nope. So I'm
Not
gonna get
canceled.
I will be damned if I do not get this Facebook page to 500 likes and I get to send books out.
We want to buy books.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we're
want
at
to
your
buy
cute
We
books.
would
and
like to
send.
buy you a gift. Please like our page.
So, all right, guys, that's about all the time we got for this week. Again, we're sorry. We're gonna miss everybody. We're gonna try to find a way to do this. Follow us on like us on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook. We'll make announcements there. We'll start using our Twitter, I guess.
We have a Twitter.
Someday.
We have a Twitter. We'll make the links to it. We have a Twitter. I'm just bad at using Twitter. And
I get that.
That's why I don't have one.
yeah,
You
exactly.
fix your phone because you can't really use. Well, there's computers that do stuff.
But yeah, so thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for the love and support and everything. And hopefully we will be back soon. Until then, I'm Jake,
I'm Nacho.
I'm Paul.
I'm Helen.
and we are the 3DMs podcast, and we want everybody to roll really well this week. We love you. We'll be back as soon as we can.
Yeah, hit us up on Facebook. We're still here.
It's so sad.
Don't cry.
This
I promised they wouldn't cry. I'm gonna cry a lot.
Play us out, Jake.
I'm gonna drown my sorrows